A great example of fear is found in the book of Numbers. Numbers 13. Whenever the children of Israel were brought out of Egypt, fear will keep us from understanding the command of the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thy men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers ye shall send a man, a ruler among them, one from every tribe. And the command is to go and to see the inheritance that Jesus, our God, has given them. But fear got their mind attention off the command of God. He didn't say, go into the land and see whether you can take it or not. He said, I want you to go and to see the land which I have given you. I will give you. So off they go. 10 men. And they go into the land and they can see that everything God said about Canaan was true. It was a land of prosperity and favor, a land of abundance. But they got their eyes fixed on the enemy. If God's telling us today to go and possess the land, whether it be a household salvation, whatever that land of possession that the Lord's sending us to look at today, we look at the finished product, because our God calls things that are not as though they are. And these 10 men went in there with a backslidden mentality. And if we're walking in a backslidden mentality today, we're not going to see the inheritance that we need to see. They could see it to an extent, but then they were looking at the giants. They were looking at the size of the walled cities. They're looking at all the objects that Satan wanted them to look at. And they come back with a story of failure. They said what God said about the land is true. But they couldn't believe that God said He was giving it to them. We can read the promises in the Bible and say, yeah, I know, and I believe these promises. But we need to believe them to an extent that we know that every promise in this book is our inheritance. And they come back with a story of defeat and caused the nation to backslide. Instead of giving God the glory for this land that He was bringing them into, they said, let us make captains and lead us back to Egypt. When we allow that backslidden attitude or that mentality, this is too great for us to do. The devil's going to have a heyday. And they said, let us make captains that they'll take us back to Egypt. Take them back to slavery. Take them back to bondage. But thank God there was 2 men out of that 12. And they said, I know our God is able. I know our God can overcome the giants, can overcome the lies and the deception of the devil. You see, their faith was in God. There was no place for fear. But the fear that worked out people And if you forget everything else I say today, remember this. The fear that operated on them delayed the man of God's inheritance for 40 years. And if we allow fear to hinder us from walking in God, if we allow fear to hinder us from reaching out and accepting the inheritance that God has for us, we may be hindering and delaying the blessing on other people.